Okay, life would be better. If cherries didn't have stones, if fish didn't have bones, if our lives had action replays, if there'd never been 70s DJs, if Sinatra was here to croon, if the Spice Girls could hold a tune, if MPs weren't so sinister, if Joy Essex could be Prime Minister, if the wedding vows became delisted, if Gary Glitter had never existed, if they pensioned off Take That, if Justin Bieber wasn't such a twat, if people didn't have bad dreams, if Milk Tray didn't have coffee creams, if my holidays could be longer, if the whole world did a conga, if my dreams came to fruition, if I became a famous musician and could play the great Hammond organ, if I could repeatedly punch Piers Morgan, life would be better. If I could get fit without being active, if Kate Moss found me attractive, you may find Kate Moss is a recurring thing in the evening. If we still had Oscar Wilde and Noel Coward, Tommy Cooper and Frankie Howard, Morecambe and Wise and our Spike, talent that we really like, instead of Jeffrey Archer and Jim Davidson, Noel Edmonds and David Dickinson, David Blaine and Uri Geller, Jeremy Kyle and that Clarkson fella. If boxing still had Big Frank, Muhammad Ali and Chris Eubank. If age didn't come with pain, if I could be 16 again, if I thought twice before getting wed, if I could have been better in bed, if Joanna Lumley got all flirty, came on to me talking dirty, if Meghan hadn't nicked our Harry and buggered off after they'd married. Of course, I suppose I'd bugger off if my uncle was a paedophile. I'm glad I got a little ripple there because there's a bit more anti-royalist stuff coming up. If our summer could have been sunnier, if this poem could have been funnier, if young people would read more books and stop being obsessed with their looks and realise that health is not just looking good on selfies. This is my daughter, by the way. If they were quicker on the roads with grits, if the council weren't so full of shit, if the government would decide to pay our pensions before we died, if trains would arrive on time and didn't blame leaves on the line, if we could all retain our youth, if Boris Johnson could tell the truth. Imagine if he were Pinocchio, his nose would stretch to Tokyo. Now Wordsworth could never have come out with a rhyme like that. If money was spent stopping flooding and fires, if governments were just made up of liars, if BBC fat cats got the sack and gave pensioners their TV licence back, if Trump would cease his tweets and look at crime on his streets, if we could find a solution to the seas and oceans pollution, if life stopped being too taxing, if more time was spent relaxing, if it was safe to walk in the park, on the streets, on your own, after dark, if people didn't need to carry knives, if more value was put on lives, if people had more willingness to cope and understand mental illness, if communities were educated to mix and not be segregated, if birds were allowed to fly freely, if the blind could one day see clearly, if everyone gives what they can, if man can be humane to man, if starvation was all in the past, if peace and love could last, if all gods were rolled into one, so hatred and violence were gone, life would be better, wouldn't it? Thank you.